Here we go. What's going on with everybody? It is your boy, Eric, aka Young God, coming to you live in the Green Dungeon, giving it to you real, raw, rugged. And I have somebody on the other line. Usually I say I'm going to have him introduce himself, but I think this guy is worthy of an introduction, to be honest with you. I've been following you for, I don't know, maybe no, maybe 5 years, honestly, at this point. And you are definitely one of the most like interesting, creative, sometimes absurd people, and I absolutely love it. And today I bring you Mr. Bill Wurtz. How are you doing today?
Wow, that's very kind. Very kind of you. Very nice of you.
Of course, of course. How you doing?
Very kind of you. I'm good. Dungeon looking green as usual.
Yes, with the grandfather clock in the
Yeah.
background right there. Um, are you a big clock guy?
No, but I mean I like them. I'm nothing against them. I don't have any. I could.
You don't have any actual like you're
I
just
don't have
digital
any
clocks.
spinning clocks. No.
Got you, got you.
No.
Is there anything because I don't know, I've been finding myself being into just more like random antiquated type of like items and stuff. Like you have any like not even obsession but just interest in just random things like, oh, I collect clocks or I collect whatever.
Well, I strongly prefer the keyboards that have buttons on them. Like, you know, that you
The
can.
piano keyboards or
Well, yeah, both actually. Yeah,
got you,
physical
got you.
physical buttons. I don't know if that's antiquated yet, but
What
yeah.
what keyboards don't have buttons?
uh, your iPad
Oh, got you, got
keyboard,
you,
your
got you,
iPhone
got you,
keyboard.
got you,
Yeah, it
got you,
means you have
got
to
you,
look at it. Really, you can't type without looking on a
got you,
touchscreen.
got you.
I don't know anyone can do that. I mean, unless you have serious autocorrect, but then that'll might. Yeah, you know.
Maybe this says a lot about the state of me being on my phone a lot because I can definitely look at you and like text somebody if I needed to and like not look
Autocorrect
at
will
the.
take care of you until you type something close to something that's yeah.
Were you a big BlackBerry guy?
I don't recall. I don't recall
'Cause I know the
BlackBerry.
BlackBerry had the physical keyboard. So I know
Yeah,
that.
they were tiny. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Either way, keyboard aside, thank you for coming on the channel. Just
Yeah,
want to say that this is it's our second time actually doing this.
yeah.
Um, and it's so interesting because for the people who have no idea what I'm talking about, we did an interview, didn't get released just because of a lot of editing issues or whatnot. And
There actually weren't any editing issues. There shouldn't have been any editing issues. My brilliant idea for my problems was like, I'll just edit it and then I can make sure that it goes good. Make sure I don't sound stupid, but it didn't. I couldn't even get up the courage to even listen to it, so it didn't work.
oh, you didn't even get a chance to listen. That's so
I
funny.
listened to the first 10 seconds and just couldn't. Yeah, couldn't deal with it.
So I want to know if you have a similar problem as me because I've heard you say a lot of times that you're your own self editor. You self edit everything yourself.
Yeah,
So when I edit, let's say a video that I've done, let's say it's based in comedy, a comedic video that I've did.
sure.
If I am editing it and I'm like on the eighth time of me watching this part, I get to the point where I'm like, I don't think this is funny anymore.
Well, that's a problem with comedy, particularly. That's less of a problem, I think, with non laughy based stuff, like stuff that's supposed to be funny. Because certain things are funny only on the first time. I've heard that comedy producers suffer from that, like the 40th time. And the thing is, if you're making a thing like a movie or something, you have to watch it a lot of times. So that is a big problem with doing.
But would you say, because I would say a lot of your content and music is based in comedy. Even if the whole song isn't comedic, there would definitely be like comedic parts to it. So do you ever find yourself, kind of weirded out by that?
Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as things that are like just like for the laughs. I don't know, but I try to remind myself that sometimes. But I don't think it's as big a problem as what I'm doing. But sometimes it is. Yeah, sometimes I feel the need to like rewrite things. Probably shouldn't.
So when you like your writing process, when you're writing, let's say a song that you know is not intended to be funny, because like you're not making parody music per se, but like
No.
just something that maybe like have some silly lyrics in it or whatever. Do you
Yeah.
ever find yourself writing it from like a is it always from like a music writer perspective? Because I feel like writing music or writing like a script for something is different. So something like the history of the world video, even though they have melodies in it, it's much more of a script. Do you ever find yourself conflating those two writing
Oh
brains?
yeah, yeah. It's all conflated. Yeah, all the walls in my brain, like between the different genres or whatever they're supposed to. I mean, that all those dividers in my brain just broke down a long time ago, and everything just leaked into each other, and I can't even tell. I can't even tell what's what anymore.
it's funny because I feel like your music definitely is like a combination of a few things for me. Like when I listen to your music, I think I'm like, this is like if it's like if PBS Kids made a soundtrack with Thundercat. I don't know if you know Thunder. Are you familiar with Thundercat?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
And I've always like felt like your YouTube music like was like in the same universe, but like the production of your music, it reminds me of watching like PBS Kids when I was younger. I don't know why, but it
Yeah.
has that type of just like positivity, upbeat. Like when I think about like the author, like I can imagine you like producing like the author theme song or something. Do cartoons or anything play a part in like the way you see music?
Maybe it does. I've seen cartoons
But
before.
it's not a conscious thing that you think about.
Well, like I said, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure entirely even what's conscious and what's unconscious because I think, like I said, the dividing wall between those two, if all goes well, probably ought to break down. I think you'll probably be in better shape if you can break that wall down. So I obliterated that wall probably on purpose, probably a long time ago. So I'm hopeless if you want me to figure out, which side of the wall which thing is from.
Is that a thing that applies to like outside of music too, where it's just like everything's
It might
conflated?
be. It might be.
Gotcha,
I mean,
gotcha.
yeah, no, categories are good and fun. You can do it. That's good, actually. No, categorization is fun and good, but they may switch tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like all the dividing lines might switch. So, which is part of the fun.
Listening to you speak, like in interviews or right now, I always think like you seem like a very philosophical guy. I don't know if you study philosophy at all, but
Um,
is that your thing?
I don't know. I don't know. I do know that calling philosophy definitely seems like it should be some kind of a buzzkill to the whole philosophy thing. I
Why?
think. I don't know why. So then, in that case, the answer is no. No, I don't. I don't like philosophy.
I feel like
But with the asterisk that I don't, I probably don't know what it means. So
just you just seem like a I don't know. That's a good point. Just the people that I know who study philosophy in college, they strike me as similar people to you, the way that they
okay.
answer questions and stuff like that. So that's why.
I thought they studied like famous philosophers from yesteryear. I thought
Um,
that's what they usually do,
I think it's that that may be like intro to because I don't study I never studied philosophy.
which would be ironic because the people they're studying are likely maybe didn't do that.
Yeah,
They may be instead just like tripped out and figured it out on their own.
that is a fact. So like I I graduated with a degree in psychology, and within
Oh,
psychology, there's a bunch of philosophy. Like you have to learn about philosophers, and this person was a polymyth, and this person did philosophy in this. So I've learned a lot about philosophy, and we're definitely learning about the yesteryear. But for somebody who's specifically studying philosophy, I have no
I
clue.
can't believe
No
I got
clue.
you to say yesteryear. I said yesteryear because that word is ridiculous. I can't believe I got you to say it seriously.
Is that a is I remember looking at like a Tyler Creator interview when he was saying like he named the song something, I forget what song it was, because like the words were just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you ever just put like words in songs because that's like a word that's been in your head for that day and you're like, I need to put this
Sure,
somewhere.
sure.
Any example of that off the top of your head? Like a
Uh,
silly word you just put in there.
I recall I used winced. I used the word winced in a song once.
Like you're wincing at something? Like
No, winced. Like I don't know. I think people were saying whomst a lot. It's not really a real word. Like whom,
yeah.
like who, and then whom, and then whomst. Kind of just added even a little extra. So it was when, like WHEN, and then it's whence. Whence is a very old word. Whence,
Yeah.
like with the CE. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just added this ST just to go even further.
Got you. Yeah,
It's
you're
just it just happened. I don't know how it happened, but yeah.
I mean, that's educational. I don't think I've ever heard somebody say wince. I've heard somebody say like I'm wincing at this, like I'm like
No, no,
almost
no,
like
different.
cringing. Got
That's a
you,
different
got
word.
you.
Yeah.
It's funny because I say you're educational. I could be wrong, but I want to say the first time I heard of you, speaking of college, I had to take, what was it, like, I forget the class that I was in or whatever. It was some type of history class. We watched the history of the world video in class.
Wow.
We watched the history of the world video in class. I had like a very like just interesting teacher that would do a lot of interesting methods to teach us things. And with the lecture, she was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put in this video, and it was like 18 minutes, or no, it's not. Is it that long?
Yeah, that one came out to 20, I think, over
20.
20 or 19, maybe just under 20. Yeah.
Okay, so like 19, 20 minute video, and I remember he put it on, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna let this ride out, and I was like, what am I watching? I was like, this is crazy. This is not something that this is not the usual method that I'm used to learning to in school. So going from that, I'm like, I have to listen to more, and then I just became a fan. So have you ever heard of your videos being used in like an educational setting?
I have heard that that happens. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Is that a because I mean like doing that video, you have to educate yourself. I'm assuming like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like okay, I'll do history of the world. Yeah, I'll just tell the story of. I'll just read right quick. Just tell the story of the history of the world. Yeah, yeah. You have to first learn the damn history of the world, which no one really knows. And also, like, yeah, it was. Yeah. Oops.
Have you seen the reaction videos of like professors breaking
I
down
may
your
have.
video?
I may have seen part of one or two.
Is that a do you are you one of those people who you put out something you kind of want to see the feedback from it, or you put it out and just don't want to see it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I That's something that like personally, like if I do that, like I don't know. It's like is it human nature? Like I said, maybe this is a me thing. You'll see all the good stuff, and you go, "Oh, that's cool." Just like the one
One bad
bad
one.
thing.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like why don't we give that much attention to the people
Why
that say
don't
it's
we?
great? You know,
Why don't we?
I think this is philosophy.
Why don't we?
This is
Yeah,
philosophy.
well, sure. That's sure. I mean, other people. I mean, I might just call it thinking. I don't know if I'd be wrong to call it that, but because I don't want to exclude people that don't like know the big word of philosophy, or if they think that means like studying old famous philosophers, whom most of the time didn't probably, right? Because most of the real deal people that made it, who end up in your philosophy textbooks, are probably just regular people who
Yeah.
are like just got deep into it, right?
Yeah.
And how many people out there get deep into it, right, in the thinking about stuff? And that's not fair to exclude them from the field of psychology, right? So that's anyway.
I think you make a good point about like that's probably not how they studied back then at that
No,
point, you know, because I mean, even if you look at like old psychologists, they were like Freud is like Freud was like a cokehead. Like, he was like a
yeah,
big time cokehead. He in some of his theories, it was like you must have to be on like some type of drug to think
sure,
of
yeah,
this. So
yeah. Or Walden, like just on the pond, like with
yeah,
nothing, yeah,
yeah. Or even like if we go into like a very technical standpoint where it's like a lot of things that like psychologists did back in like the 60s, 50s were unethical that were that be considered
sure,
unethical today. So you couldn't even do like the
yeah.
what is it, the Stanford or whatever college it is where they do the prison experiment. I don't know if you've ever seen that before.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
They literally took like 20 people from like a college, and like 10 of them were guards, 10 of them were prisoners. It was all fake, but they were just like saying,
Oh yeah,
let's do this for like
right, right,
five
right, right.
days, yeah, and let's see what happens. And
Try to get them to like torture each other and stuff.
exactly, so
Yeah,
yeah, the prisoners actually or the prison guards actually start thinking the prison guards start beating up the prisoners. It was insane. So
yeah.
couldn't do that today. Couldn't do that today, and for good reason. Do you? But that was something that I was thinking about. Do you ever find because I don't know. I listen to like people who make music talk about the inspirations, and there's always usually like musical artists. Are your inspirations ever pulled from just abstract things that are not music?
It's anything there is, anything there is, anything that I've seen or heard could be, yeah, could have influenced me.
And I know you are very DIY, do it yourself type of guy,
Yeah,
right? And you say like you sometimes you can't even think about thinking of collaborating with somebody.
I know it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Do you feel like you ever get better at that, or are you still at the same place you were years ago thinking about that?
No, that's about right. It seems to me like have you ever tried riding a bike with another person? I'm not talking about one person sitting on top of the bike. I'm talking about like you're using one foot to move one side of the pedal and the other person's using
That
the other
sounds
foot.
crazy.
That's not the best analogy because that probably wouldn't be that hard. How about walking? I don't know, those things. I think it's called like a three-legged race or something where you put like two people and then each person puts one foot in a
Yeah,
bag.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's like really hard to do.
The bicycle thing sounds hard to do to me. That sounds
Yeah.
crazy. So
So why wouldn't that be a good analogy for like why like working with someone else would be like a real mind fuck?
I think for people who think that it's super easy to collaborate,
Yeah.
they wouldn't understand it. But I get you because I'm the only child, so I
Yeah.
got very used to being by myself, doing
Yeah.
everything by myself. So if we take to like let's take like high school, middle school, elementary school, where you do like a group project with the kids or whatever, I was always kind of like I would rather do this by myself. Like I don't want to work in a group. I would rather do
Right.
it by myself. So like even with like a YouTube video, I I don't really find it interesting to like do hey let's collab and do a YouTube video together. I'm like I rather because I know how I want the stuff to come out, and
Yeah.
that's how I want it to come out. I don't want to So
Right.
is that kind of similar to you? Like you know how you
It
want it to
might
come
be.
out?
It might be, but I've learned. I think it's a lot deeper than that
Yeah.
somehow.
On a selfish note, even though we just said all that, a person that I really do want to hear you work with is Thundercat.
Okay.
Thundercat, I feel like I said, I feel like the music is like if there was like a what is it the history of the world and the way the universe started, you guys would be like in the same like universe of like I don't know the way the music sounds. Do you hear that when you hear his music at all, or is that something that
I don't know. Possibly.
love to hear that?
I don't know.
Is there
Huh?
any? As
What'd you say?
no, as I would love to hear that. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
collab. Is there anybody that you would want to collab with, but in your brain you're like I just can't do it? Like, do you ever hear artists and like I would work with that person, or is that not even a thought?
I don't know. I don't know how it would work.
Mm. I know that, but like, do
So
you
that's
ever?
probably why I don't think of it.
So you don't even think of like so when you like do you listen to a lot of modern music?
Yeah.
Just never the thought of like, I could. Even like, would you ever think about like, how about this? Because you could do this by yourself. Would you ever produce a song for somebody?
Yeah, I should, but there's going to be problems with that.
What would be the problems with that?
Well, the thing is, whether I like it or not, what I do on my own work for myself is like life or death.
Mm.
That's just the way I am, I guess. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. So, well, my voice is disappearing. Hold
No,
on.
you're good.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's so intense that I don't even notice how intense it is until I get next to someone else and I watch them noticing. Yeah, how deep in it I am. I don't know. To collaborate, I think I would have to be in an extremely deep, lifelong relationship with someone else from birth. We would have to have grown up next to each other. We would have to be absolute. You know what I mean? It's like when I do my own work, it's like life or death. It's like so everything. So if I were producing someone else, and I don't really have another gear to work, and it doesn't even feel like I'm working that way. It's just like my normal idea of how to do work actually turns out to be like I'm just taking it really, really, really seriously, and I'm really, really just going all in, and it really means everything. So, is there someone out there who, yeah, would I find myself in a situation where I'm that close to someone? You know what I mean? Like we'd have to be like blood, everything together. You know what I mean? Like blood brothers, whatever you want to say. Like we have to be like, yeah. So and there's certainly no price tag that someone could just come along and just say, oh here, I'll pay you like this much to like
Yeah.
devote your life to something. And it doesn't feel like I'm devoting my life to it, but that's what it ends up being. I'm psychoanalyzing myself from the outside, but that's what happens when I get into doing stuff. I don't know.
I think something that was like kind of mentioned in your Anthony Padilla interview was like how easy you make it seem. So it's so interesting to hear you say like it's life or death because it seems like it's just so easy. And I would compare it to like a great athlete, an athlete who you watch and they make it seem so easy. And like I could do that, and then you try to do it, and you're like, I can't do this. Like this looks. He made it seem much easier than it actually is. And I think that would also go back to an interview I did with gosh, I always say his name wrong, and you probably know who I'm talking about. Mark Rebele.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Glasses. He does plays the piano, makes like crazy like freestyle stuff. I was interviewing him, and
Yeah.
we brought you up, and he was just like, I could never like do what he does. Like it's like he's like as a musician, I recognize how hard that is, you know. So I feel like it's like a thing where an athlete can see another athlete do something, and it's like, oh, that's very difficult. But
Yeah.
the common eye couldn't see that.
Yeah. I think the road to that looks a little bit like this. You know those you know um like when huge nerds get into like really really complicated stuff.
Yeah,
Like no offense to like nerds. I mean, I'm talking about myself.
yeah.
Like really really complicated music or really really complicated mathematical stuff. Just really really just like give me the most crazy thing there is. Yeah, that was me.
Like all your life.
I mean, at least at the beginning. I mean, that has a tendency to be me, and that certainly was me. Now, what happens to those kids sometimes? What happens when you go down that road? You realize, oh gosh, this is super niche. This is not the kind of thing that really appeals to like anyone really, or I mean, most people or normal people. Or this is not like it's like it's just super niche. So then I'm like, okay, what can we do about this? So yeah,
It's
I kind of got really dedicated to like making sure I actually brought myself back to the main world in whatever most genuine way that I can. I'm
yeah,
not talking about like, okay, I'm going to listen to pop even though I hate it and like try to make something that I hate in the same way. That's not the right answer. You need to listen to popular stuff and find what you really, 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 really love about it. Even better, find the stuff that's actually doing crazy, crazy stuff that's actually working and actually working for like normal people and that you love too. So anyway, that's been sort of the guiding. Yeah, that's been the way to bring myself back from nerddom. And then the result that you get is I'm doing stuff and I can't resist throwing like you get outrageous whatever whatever Mark was talking about.
do you have a do you have any music that's out or not out that you've made that you would say is like super niche and like wouldn't be like the you know like for a very big audience, but it's something that you just love?
Um, yeah, there was one time I had this riff going through my head that was going through I just had a riff going through my head that was effectively going down a scale continually,
Yeah.
but it fit normally with musical chords, and it was stuck in my head, and then I just worked it out, and I just put it on the back page of my website somewhere. Called it "Hey Mom, I Beat the Scale," but it's just I figured out a little riff that just keeps going down and down, but it works musically. But it's instrumental only. There's no words on it. So if it doesn't have words on it and it's not attached to pictures or it's not attached to a game or it's not attached to a story, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, where is it going to be? I mean, where is it going to go? It doesn't even work for me, even though I'm like supposedly like a music nerd. I would struggle with something that's just an instrumental audio if it doesn't have words, if it doesn't have a story, if it can't put it somewhere.
And it's funny because we talk about being niche and appealing to the world or things of that sort. Do you have any type of ambition to want to be like a mainstream act?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe everybody does secretly. I assume everyone does secretly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard people say out their mouths that like I don't want to be like a main, like I want to be underground. I don't know how true that is, but
Yeah, well, maybe I have problems. Yeah. Yeah, I want to be I want it all.
would that
That would
just
be
be
nice.
would that just be music? Because like I said, I feel like listening to you like the way you write, it could be like for a movie or a show or writing for like do you have any ambitions to do that outside of music, or would it just be a mainstream act in
I'd
music?
probably rather make the whole movie and the music.
Mm. You're like starring yourself and wrote it, or
Well, I don't know.
you're like
I'll see what I can do.
you're like the white Eddie Murphy.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. I seen a question on your website where you said that somebody asked you like, is there like what was it like what's the likelihood of you making a movie? You said likely.
Yeah.
Without I don't.
Well, again, I mean, like where's the what does that mean? What's the movie? I hate to bring it to this, but you know, if there is like a dividing line between what's a movie and what's not, I kind of forgot what that dividing line is.
Can I give my definition of movie?
Sure.
Movie, I would say, is something that has I can't even say it has to have a script because a documentary is a movie, but something I would assume people were saying talking about something with a script, and
Yep.
actors, and a
Hmm.
director, a
Hmm.
producer. Uh, yeah, I think that's what
Is
people
it
are meaning.
disqualified if all those people happen to be the same person?
No, that's why I said you're like Eddie
Okay.
Murphy and like Nutty Professor, and you're playing
Okay.
like everybody. Or you're Eddie
Hmm.
Murphy in like whatever movie where he's playing like 30 million
Hmm.
people.
I am playing 20 different people in one of the things that I'm working on.
Do you? That's so.
And 18 of them might not actually sound exactly the same if we did each other. But unfortunately, when it comes down to the two like most normally kind of
Yeah.
people that are like not like a one-time walk-on one-liner, they're talking to each other for a long time, and
Mm.
neither one of them is supposed to be the big, tall one or the small one or the light one or the heavy one, and they're kind of just both normal. So it's like, ugh, they sound really similar. But I don't know. I'm learning. You have to just finesse the dialogue in such a
Yeah.
way that it doesn't sound anyway.
You said 18 of them don't sound the same.
Uh, the first 17 or so they tend to be quick little one-offers that kind of like they have a little bit of a different thing to them. But if you try to put on a different voice and then maintain that
Yeah.
through like a whole range of normal thoughts and conversations, that's tough.
You good at impressions?
Well, for moments, yeah, for brief fleeting moments, maybe
Could you do like,
if the moment's right.
could you do like a good British impersonation?
Yeah, if the moment's right. But the thing is, that means that means like 1,000 different things. There's like a lot of different things. Yeah, if I'm in the right mindset, yeah, I might be able to channel someone.
That's so like so okay. So you're saying you have something coming up that has a bunch of people where you're playing those different people.
Mm-hmm.
Are you into like acting? I would assume if you're saying that.
I suppose I'm certainly not into acting.
Okay. Are
Acting
you
is a wonderful, yeah, a wonderful thing.
are you a film watcher enthusiast? You like movies and stuff?
Yeah, could happen. Could happen.
What any recent movies you watched that kind of stuck with you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think I see them differently. I mean, I think there's. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there was one. There was one that I like. Well, yeah. No, I tend to get really disappointed sometimes. A lot of times, I just keep getting disappointed about the same things when I see movies. Um, yeah, and then once in a while, one comes along that actually doesn't disappoint me in those ways. I'm like, whoa! I wonder why all movies can't be like this.
What's
It's
one?
wild.
What's one that's like that?
Well, I don't know. Put it this way: I I saw Scott Pilgrim versus the World, when it around a year after it came out, and I was like flipping. I was like doing backflips over it. I was like, I can't believe that they made this work like that. Just everything, every line, everything, cut, everything, just slamming. And then after that, I started second guessing myself. I was like, there's no way this could have been that good. There's no way this could have been that good. And then I saw it again like last year or this year, and I was like, whoa. There's something with that, but see, I shouldn't have said that. Movies hit different people different ways. So there, it could be. You never know what happens and what doesn't. But
That's a good movie. I don't know why you wouldn't say that.
it's crazy, isn't it?
That's a
You
good
know what I
movie.
found out even crazier? It flopped at the theater
Yeah.
when it came out. I didn't even know that the first time I saw it. I just assumed it was like the best thing ever and everyone knows it. I was like, imagine this coming out and hitting the screen and like not working. I must be like weirder than I thought because that stuff seems solid. Like every moment of that seems like they nailed it. Like anyone watching this movie would be like, yeah, they're nailing it. But like most other movies don't seem to nail it that hard. So there must be something off about this or something. Yeah.
That's one of those movies where, if I'm not mistaken, because I didn't see it when it first came out either, but it's one of those movies that like after release it kind of became like a cult classic.
Sure. It made it. I mean, it did it. Yeah. I mean, Edgar Wright, the director, he always tells a story. The marketing director emailed him like the day after it flopped. And he said, hey, man, listen, years, not days. So, like, just hold on so they knew they had something, but they're like,
Years,
it
not
just didn't,
days.
it didn't, like, yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
People will find it. And they did, which is crazy. But I didn't even realize they weren't. I saw it.
You ever,
I don't know.
you ever that I feel like that's good. That's a good thing to live by. You ever think about that?
Well, yeah.
Years, not days.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, of course. No, you don't. No, I don't know. I wouldn't want to make something that's gonna like. I would never want to trick anyone into thinking that what I've done is better than it is. I almost would rather trick them the other way. I would
Mm.
almost rather like kind of like sneak it in there and they don't even notice it, and then once they get around to finding it, then they realize that it actually is good. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, I would prefer to make things that are like actually good and not like tricking anyone to quickly thinking that it's good right now. Yeah, no, I think.
No, for sure. I mean, because I feel like a lot of those type of things that are years, not days. Those are things that are gonna last. You know, how
Sure,
people call like certain type of music like fast food music, where it doesn't last. It's just like there for the
sure,
moment.
sure.
So yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Jay-Z quote comes to mind. You know, do you want to be a trend or you want to be Ralph Lauren? You know, that sort of thing. Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know.
No, for sure, for sure. I mean, dog, your music and your videos are being played in schools. That's a
That's heavy.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you think about that when making that video? Like, this could be like an actual educational video for like a super educational setting.
Well, I was thinking that this is the way that that you could actually learn something.
Yeah,
That's the whole point.
yeah.
It's like, well, let's actually get this because I wanted to know like how things happened. So yeah, I mean, the point was to get that done, make that happen.
Are you into history?
You know, history got a lot more crazy for me when I realized that the locations all still exist as locations today.
Yeah.
Like history used to be this abstract thing that people were telling this like story that happened in another time and it's like not connected to our time. But when you realize that everything that ever any story that anyone tells that happened in history, it happened somewhere
Yeah.
on this real planet that still exists today. And you can go and find that location, and in most cases you can tell like that location still is the place that there was a thing there. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like find old roads and stuff, you know, like old I don't know, old Dixie Highway or you know, old St. Augustine Road or whatever. Like, you know, that's those are the real roads, and if you go there, you can tell, you'll see something. Anyway.
Yeah.
History got a lot more real when it got connected to geography. That's probably why I put tons of maps everywhere and things.
I think for me in a similar setting, like history is like crazy to me when like I don't know, it feels like close. Like for example, I was or not like close, but like there's this guy on YouTube named David Hoffman. Dude has to be like 80 years old. You know what I'm talking about?
David Hoffman.
He has like,
I know of. I think I know of someone named David Hoffman, but I might be thinking of a different person.
dude name's like David Hoffman. He's like an 80-year-old dude, and he's been doing documentaries since like the 50s and like working on commercials.
Yes, I know who that is.
That guy.
Yep.
So
just like random, like put a camera somewhere. And
yes,
regular people from
yes.
from the 50s and
So I interviewed him, and with me doing the interview, I'm doing research, and there's a video on his page where he interviewed this lady who was born in the 1800s.
Yeah.
And she was telling a story about something that happened in like the 1800s or something. And I'm just like, that's crazy. Like we're listening to somebody recount the 1800s. Like that's wild to me, you know?
Yeah.
Or like I've heard audio recordings of like former slaves being interviewed, and it's like that's nuts. Like this person was a slave in America, and they have like audio. So that's the thing where it's like where you were with the geography and the maps, like that type of stuff is just like that's crazy, you know?
Yeah, that's something. Like interviews with old people that were recorded in 1925. Yeah.
There's a one of my favorite videos on YouTube. I have two, but one of them is a video on Kodak's channel, the freaking camera company, and they have like a old 1925 video, and they were shooting on. I'm not a big like camera person. It was like Chromacone or something like that, and it was like one of the first videos shot on that. And like I said, it's like from the 20s, and all these people were born like. I mean, going back to like the mid 1800s, and it's just so crazy because it's like, wow, it's like you're looking at like history, you know? It's wild stuff.
Yeah,
wild stuff. But yeah, shout out to history. That's like my favorite. It's like my favorite subject.
Shout out to history. Is that what you said?
Shout out to
Yeah.
history. Shout out
Shout
to
out to
history.
history. Yeah.
A history got you 160 million views. So shout out to history
Yeah.
for real. Or maybe not.
I don't know.
But but yeah, that's what I was going to ask you before we get into the history conversation. We were talking about movies. I want to go back to that a little bit.
Yeah.
What about? Because you were saying like, Scott Pilgrim versus the World just like
Yeah.
blew your
I'm
mind.
embarrassed to like just put all the cards on the table, but I mean they were really.
No.
I find they were nailing it, just scene to scene, line to line, just consistently. I mean, there was a thing. There was just like the perfectly framed on screen. Like the it's Sarah's in the background and like makes a head gesture, like he pops his head up. It's just like that alone. If I saw just that head move in a movie, I would be like blown away by it. But this thing has that stuff at every turn, at every corner. Yeah, I'm really laying it all out there because I was really tripping over this thing.
It would be different if you were talking about like just an absolutely terrible movie or something, and
Well, who's to say that that's not? I'm sure there are people that think that. I'm sure people thought that when they saw it.
It's one of my favorite things to do right now. I go on Rotten Tomatoes
Yeah.
for like
Look for terrible movies and see them?
no.
Okay,
I
sorry.
go on Rotten Tomatoes. That might be a good one too, but you might just put me onto something. But no, I go on Rotten Tomatoes and look at older movies that everybody kind of love and to see the reviews back then because they're going to be people who are like, this stinks, this sucks.
Oh man, yeah. I keep a list of anytime I'm watching something kind of old or anytime I'm keeping a list of anytime somebody said something in this style. Today's music all sucks, and what happened to like the good way it was before? I save anytime I hear anyone say that, especially from previous times, like bonus points for finding one that's in the past because now you can prove that that's definitely like not right.
Those are that's like one of my favorite things about watching documentaries because like if you're talking about like a music artist or whatever, there will be like clips or clippings to show like people at that time period being like, this music isn't going to last. Like punk music, is going to only last like 3 years. Sure. It's a fad. So there's a guy, I forget his name, and I want to say he's still alive, but he's definitely still alive, and he's like a columnist or something. And every time he like reviews like a rap album, he's like, this is like I think back in that time when it first came out, he was like, this is going to be trash. It's going to suck. And to his credit, he's still going. I mean, he's a day one hater, and I appreciate that. Yeah. I appreciate being consistent. I appreciate the consistency of that for sure. Is there anybody? No, because I mean, I was about to say you don't really check it. I was going to say like, is there people like that you see about your content that are just like number one day haters?
Yeah. I saw someone said that like using complicated chords in music is just a fad right now. And it's like, dude, I've been doing that my whole life. I don't know.
That's the craziest thing to me is to like see a song or see something from you. It says like 2005 or something, and I'm like, whoa, he's been grinding. And I appreciate that. Because a lot of people, I don't know, because at that time, 2000s, 2010s or whatever, I would assume your music wasn't as big as it is, or just your platform wasn't as big as it is now. What made you like because a lot of people might just get discouraged. What kept you from being discouraged?
Well, if you need something bad enough, you don't have another way. I mean, I've heard there's plenty of advisors and mentors and wise people that will say you have to want it. Like, it just depends how bad you want it, or you have to need it. Like, someone said you have to be someone that would die without doing it. Or even someone said, LeVar Burton, I just saw a clip of him saying, whenever someone says they want to be an actor, I always try to tell them, no, don't be an actor, just to test them. Because if they really want to be an actor bad enough, they need to be able to disagree with that. They need to be able to stand against that. They shouldn't be discouraged by someone just saying, don't do it.
That's a good point. When you said LeVar Burton, the only thing I could think about is like, I would love to hear you like do like they brought back like Reading Rainbow. I would love to hear you do like the theme song to that. I don't know why my brain like you would like I don't know like your music is so interesting to me. I think because like it can appeal to so many demographics of people, I feel like you can appeal to an adult. You can appeal to kids just because of the way it sounds. It sounds like so. It sounds like it's not they're like, hey, we need to like spruce up PBS Kids music.
Yeah.
They just hired you, or it can appeal to Americans. Like your music is very, I feel like, universal, and
Well, that's about the nicest thing you can say to a person. So
yeah.
thank you for that. I mean, yeah.
Is that a conscious? Well, I don't know if you can answer that question. You
Yeah,
know
yeah. I mean,
that.
why wouldn't that be like good? I mean, unless you're trying to, well, yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I want to have the cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I want to appeal to everyone, but I want to do it genuinely. I think that's what anyone would like. Maybe, yeah, that's what you want to do, isn't it? It's to appeal to everyone and not by tricking anyone, not by faking it, by
Yeah.
yeah. Imagine if everyone loved the real me. Would that not be? If anyone said that, would that be like a bad thing?
No.
No, that would be a good thing. But it's kind of a high goal to shoot for. But I don't know. It's
I
worth a shot.
I guess I do think about like people who do like kind of like thrive off I'm underground, or like it's not, or like a punk artist might be like it's not punk to be mainstream or something like that, or it's not punk to want to appeal to everybody. So
Yeah.
that's why I guess I asked you that, because I didn't know if you had that type of mentality of like
Yeah,
that.
well, if you, I don't know. I mean, if you've ever gotten a chance to have the best of both worlds, and I'm not saying that I necessarily have, but I don't know. Why wouldn't you want to kind of have it both ways?
That's a good point. That's a good
You know?
point. And I feel like you talking about like appealing to everybody, you've inspired me. When I was younger, I wanted to play piano, and I literally have a keyboard, just never touched it. Listening to your music made me hop back on that keyboard and
Yeah.
start learning chords and everything. So I appreciate that.
Well, piano is your friend. I mean, all the notes are in order. They're just right there, and they're free. Like you just touch one, and that if you're ever wondering how a note sounds, you don't have to look it up. Bonk, there it is. That's how it sounds. You want to know how two notes sound together? Boom. And two notes together is crazy. So, and there's so many different combinations of two notes. So you could just sit there and play different combinations of two notes and just blow your brains out on that.
You know, an instrument is super hard to me that I tried to learn as a kid, just gave it up. It's the one behind you.
Which one was that? The bass? Bass guitar?
Just the guitar in general. Just
Oh, that's a bass guitar.
But yeah, I had an acoustic guitar. Boy,
Okay.
oh boy, I was butt. I was absolutely booty. I sucked.
Well, acoustic guitar is tough for some reasons.
I don't
Several
think
reasons.
I don't think I'm good at the. I wasn't good at putting my fingers in the fret, and I don't know the finger thing. Like I could play trombone. That was. I feel like that's a super cheat code, easy instrument to learn. To be honest with you.
Really? Unless you, I mean, but you have to figure out the brass mouth thing, which is
So
crazy.
so there was that. So
I never got past that. I had a trumpet in my hand for a few weeks, thinking, okay, this is going to be the next big thing for me. But yeah, the thing that you have to do with the lips and that stuff, it's a magic trick.
so some people mouths aren't built for like the brass,
Mhm.
and that's why they go to the woodwind instruments. So you see somebody playing the clarinet, because if you like go to like a band or something, and you have no like music knowledge, they'll be like, here's a woodwind instrument, here's a brass instrument. See which one your mouth fits,
Mhm.
and if your mouth doesn't fit one, they give you the other. So yeah, just probably
Yeah, the reed thing, though, is no joke either. I mean,
Yeah.
sax stuff, that's a whole other thing.
I think the reed didn't do it for me. I was like, I don't know what's going on. This is hard.
Yeah,
Let
a
me get
piece
it.
of wood in the, yeah. I don't know. I never got through it. And you have to keep it in shape with brass. Isn't it true? If you don't keep it in shape with the brass thing, you can't do it.
Yeah. And,
Crazy.
and that's why I took a long break and I forgot how to even do it. Like I feel like I say trombone is easy because it's like one of the only instruments where like I don't know. It's like everything is exact on every other instrument. You press
Right.
you press
a
down.
button,
You know what I'm saying? But on the trombone, you know what I'm saying. It's not
Right.
everything's not going to be
Put it
super
wherever you
exact.
want it, yeah.
Exactly. So
But that's also really hard, though. I mean, like, 'cause you
Yeah.
got to get it right there.
Yeah.
How do you?
I would say muscle memory. The same way probably is like like I look at like Stevie Wonder. He doesn't see what he's playing. That's all muscle memory right
Yeah.
there. Ray
Yeah.
Charles and them. So, how long did it take you? I feel like to master.
By the way, Stevie Wonder, complicated chords in a pop song. It happens.
Doug,
So that's the perfect example right there of like yeah, no, putting obscure like, I mean, yeah,
I mean,
popular doesn't have to mean dumb. Like you can
yeah,
get as smart as you want, but as
yeah.
long as you're still bringing it to the love of the main thing, yeah. As long as you still have, or I don't know what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm just saying.
No, I mean, I'm gonna hop on your bandwagon, and I'm gonna make a PSA that I think you're gonna be on board with right now. We need to give Stevie Wonder his flowers and credit, because I don't want that to be a situation where it's like he's gone. Everybody's like, "Oh man, he was so good." It's like this. We have
Are
like
there
a
any?
living legend right here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's gotten at least some of those
For
awards.
sure. I
For
just,
sure. Are there any that he's missing that he needs to get?
well, not even specifically like awards or anything, but it's just like, man, this guy's alive, and like he has
I know.
literally some of the greatest songs in the
I know.
history of music. So I feel like that we damn near need like
I have to say he was really a guy who, like I said, when like I went down the road into the nerdiest music, especially like quarterly
yeah,
nerdy music imaginable, and like all the like adults are saying you'll never succeed if you are such a nerd with chords, or if you do key changes that are that ridiculous. And it's like I have to say, Stevie Wonder is like the guy who proves that wrong. Uh, he's got some stuff that's done really really well. That really does. I want to say it's kind of like on a daily to-do list when writing a song, to do at least something in it with a chord or something that no one's ever heard of before. Yeah, yeah, it's something special.
there's this video of him, like speaking of him being like innovative. I forget, he was like on like a late night talk show or whatever, and uh, I want to say he might have been like the first person like on national television to use like a talk box, and
Yeah,
he was singing this song called "Close to You" with the talk box in, and people were like, "What's going on?" Like they didn't understand what was going on, and that became a thing that people use in the
yeah.
music industry. But he did that like early '70s, like using the talk box on national television, and yeah, like I said, you talking about the chords and just the crazy nerd stuff that he would do. I just think we damn need like a monthly reminder just to be like, hey, this guy's alive, and this guy's a great, he's a living legend. Love Stevie
Yeah,
Wonder, one of my favorite artists of all time. So,
yeah,
kind of Stevie.
yeah. I got some really obscure. Actually, I don't know which ones are so obscure. I don't know. Yeah, there's certain. I don't know. Certain ones just. Wow. Yeah.
I got something for you. You talk about
Yeah.
obscure. What's
Yeah.
off the top of your head? Who's an artist that you would probably classify as an obscure artist that you really love though?
Um, I don't know. I wouldn't want to give anyone anxiety by calling them obscure
I
because I
was
truly
thinking
don't.
about that too. I was thinking about
Yeah.
that. I was asking that.
Yeah.
Or maybe lesser known artist that, not even, it doesn't have to be currently, but just anybody in history that you know
Mm-hmm.
really did it for you.
If you can find, maybe this doesn't count because Sheryl Crow is singing on it. If you can find a version of a song produced, written, composed, produced by Jay Oliver, but was released under the name of Dave Weckl. If you can find a version of that is not a fan drum play along, because it came out on a drum instructional video, but the thing is a total pop song, and it has Sheryl Crow singing on it actually before she was famous, just kind of by chance. But it's called "Save It for a Rainy Day," or it's called "Rainy Day,"
Okay.
and it came out in like 1980 something. But you won't be able to find a version of it that's not. You probably won't be able to find a version of it that's not a fan drum play along. So that's not what you want. In fact, I like to listen to it without even Dave Weckl on it because they mixed the drums probably a little too high because it's a drummer's record. But it's a pop song, and it's just like it's a fire pop song. It's a really good pop song. It's a crazy pop song. Anyway, but you'll never find it.
One of your insane fans is going to be like, I have that on vinyl.
No, I hope you can. No, I hope you can find it without, like I said, without it being a drum fan play along, because that's not what you want. Like I said, you want the version that's just the keys and the MIDI and stuff, the J. Oliver part, and the vocal. Yeah.
I quickly want to throw out a suggestion for people watching. A song I just recently found out about of a lesser known like older artist. A guy named Steve Elliott got a song called "Believe in Me." Amazing song. Would recommend that for anybody to looking for some good music. "Believe in Me" by Steve Elliott is really really good. Are you typing that in?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to you. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. Really really good song. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like what you're doing and like how you're doing it is going to inspire or is inspiring a lot of people. So I just want to just thank you and appreciate you for the same way we were talking about like other artists appreciating them. I wanted to make sure we give you your flowers and your respect for doing what you're doing because it's not easy.
Well,
I don't know if praise makes you feel uncomfortable or whatever,
well,
but
it's very, very, yeah, very nice.
yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Because, like, I feel the fact that you even kept going, even though it probably wasn't as big as you thought it should be, and look at you now, I can't wait to see what's going on with you in the future, which is what I want to ask. Is there anything that you can talk about that you do have planned? Because I do know you kind of taking a hiatus from YouTube.
No, it's not how it goes. That's not quite. No, unfortunately, that's not how it works. Yeah, it's there was never no there's no stopping of the doing the thing of the work, but the yeah, the H word comes into it somehow, and I don't know how that happens because that's not that's I'm a make things take longer machine, and there's nothing I can do about that. And it's not even. I desperately wish I was not like that, but apparently I am. But I never stopped or quit. I just am doing a thing. It's a number of things. There's not. Yeah.
Actually, this on your website, somebody asked you a question and said, like, what's your next video? And you said the acronym is TNATM. Is that still true?
T N A T M A T M.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes,
that
yes.
was the working title for what is still the first one in the set. I'm not 100% sure that they will be released in the order of the set. And one of the advantages of doing a set, of course, is that one of them might come out to shine brightly as one that seems like it ought to be released first, and
Yeah.
I don't know which one that might be. So that's kind of the advantage of not doing one, releasing it, doing one, releasing it. Yeah. So, but that was the working title for the first one in the set, and it will not be called that, I don't think, because that is a lousy title.
All right, all right. One more thing I want to ask you before we do get out of here.
Yeah.
Can we talk about like kind of conflating things and not really knowing the conscious unconscious and kind of like you said, music is life or death, So it's like you're all into
Yeah.
this. So outside of that, how do you keep sanity? Because if you're so hard working into this, like how do you know what I'm saying? Make sure you're not losing your
Yeah.
mind making this art.
I got some tricks. They might work, they might not. Um, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know. The H word, man.
What's the H word again?
I'm winded by the H word. Is that a Latin word or it's a Greek word? I don't know how to deal with that word. It's too bad because it came right after you said some wonderfully amazing things about me.
Did I say the H word or
You did say the H word. Yeah, people use the H word. It's insane.
wait?
Yeah.
What's the H word again?
Um, it has something to do. It has something to do with stopping or not, or like taking a break on purpose.
Hesitation?
No, no. I feel like I feel like Princess Bride. Don't say that word. What's the word anyway? Yeah.
H word. Because I was talking about like you being, I say you're not discouraged. You just kept going. I have no idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Watch her like when we end the interview. It's going to be like the first thing I think about. So it's always how that works. That's
No,
hilarious.
it's okay. Some people think that I only. I don't know. Yeah. No. Well, whatever. I'm a make things take longer machine. Damn it! I shouldn't be that way. Yeah.
Is that a you outside of music thing, or is that just you making your art?
No, it's anything that I don't not care about. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's okay though. I'll be all right.
Well, hey, I appreciate you. I'm glad that you're here giving us art.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, is there anything else you want to say to the people?
I would like to say everything to everyone, and the challenges of doing that is probably what led me to use ulterior means such as music and the things that I use. Yeah.
All right, there we go. You guys go tap in to Bill's music and his art. It's really good. Um, And I appreciate you guys for watching. Until next time, I say what I mean what I say. Haters gonna hate, players gonna play. You guys holler at your boy.